Hi, good morning, it's Ian, and I thought what I'd do this morning is introduce you to how I practice these natural mindfulness exercises and experiences on my usual days. Obviously I don't run them this way when I'm guiding a walk. It's much more of a developmental and sort of, I wouldn't say planned, but more prepared way of sharing natural mindfulness practices. But this morning, it's a Monday morning. I've taken the children back to school. My daughter's gone back to school, two of her friends. I take the three of them into school in the mornings. I get back, a few chores to do around the house, walk the dog, all of those things. Do a little bit of work, although I do try to sort of get this practice in before I start work. It's not always easy to do. But I thought I'd just show you how I do that. So I've come up today. One of the chores that I do today is I come up to. We've got a small woodland we've planted in our village just here, and one of my chores, especially on a day like today where it's really hot, is to come up and just check that our trees are okay. That we did. So it gives me an opportunity. I've brought my watering can with me, and I'm just going to fill it up with some water. Nice sound of the water going into the watering can. Not quite like a stream or a brook, but it's still the sound of water. And I'm going to head off across the field here. But one of the first things I'll do, I notice I'm a little bit out of breath because I'm thinking of I'm making this, talking, trying to do a number of things at once. So I've noticed that I'm not quite in breath. And also my mind, although my body's here, my mind is sort of thinking about making this video and thinking about what I'm about to go and do as well, and how I'm going to do this in such a way that it's useful for you when I share it. So that's when I'll bring in a breathing exercise. I'll just take a nice big refreshing breath in. And because it's springtime now, it's very easy for me to associate with spring. I can hear the birds all around me. Maybe you can pick them up as well through the microphone here. I hope so. I can hear traffic in the distance. It's just after 9, so there is a lot of traffic heading to work, back from school, like I've just come back. Lots going on, but it's in the distance. It's distant on the soundscape, so the birds are much more obvious. The bird sound is much closer, and my attention is drawn to that more because, again, I practice mindful listening to nature, so my attention tends to drift towards natural sounds. Picked up a wood pigeon just come up there as well. So I do find with this practice, and hopefully you'll find this too, and the people you guide will find this too, is that the more you practice listening to natural sounds. Just picked up a bee coming over on the side as well. See, my attention goes there. My attention naturally now goes to natural sounds, and it seems to tune out a lot of the man-made sounds. Even the loud ones seem to tune out. So that's why it's a practice. That's why I keep doing this, because I get better at it the more I do it. So back to my breathing, lovely refreshing breath in, and a releasing breath out. I usually start by just breathing in the spring breath and releasing the autumn breath, and I don't focus too much attention on the pauses at the start. I just sort of getting into the in breath and releasing the out breath, and then the pauses again naturally come, a little bit like with the sound. That my attention goes to the pause. I'm aware that I've not breathed in yet. I'm still in that winter rest while I'm speaking to you. So now I'll breathe in, and then I'll pause and relax. I've got the sun on my face, which is lovely. Bird song. Still relaxing. And now I feel ready to release. And that's my release of autumn. And I'll just go through a few cycles of that breathing where I'm switching my attention between spring and refreshing in breath, maybe, and autumn releasing breath, and then I might switch to the summer relax and the winter rest. And I play with this, and I encourage you to do that too. Just play with moving your attention to different parts of the cycle, noticing different parts of the cycle, noticing which bits come easiest, noticing which bits maybe are not so easy, noticing what happens in different parts of the cycle. I know that when I breathe in, I feel energized, I feel ready, I feel quite curious and active, looking around. When I release, I kind of am moving towards a more restful state. And it's often I notice that in those pauses is when I hear more, when my senses are a little bit more alive in those spaces between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. So having done that now and shared that with you, I feel a lot calmer, a lot more grounded, a lot more here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick my shoes off. And what I tend to do when I come over here, because it's a lovely, I'll just move this around for you so you can have a quick look. Let's see, I think I can. Let's see if I can turn it so you can see. Just turn it that way then so you can see. That's easier. So behind, I've got this lovely field. So what I've done is I've just taken my shoes off, and I'm going to walk mindfully barefoot. Can't get down to my feet, but I'm going to walk mindfully barefooted across this field quite slowly. And what I'm going to do, because you're actually watching this with me, what I'll do is I won't obviously do the whole of this trip across the grass doing mindful walking, but what I will do is I'll do a little bit of mindful walking, and then I'll speed up a little bit too, just because I don't want to keep you on watching this video for too long. So I'm gonna kind of just walk out, noticing my feet on the ground as I'm walking towards the trees I'm about to water, and I can really feel there's lovely soft grass. It's a little bit damp as well because it was a dewy morning, but I can feel that combination of very soft grass, a little bit wet, a little bit damp, cooler than the air, but warmer than I expected it to be actually. And it's lovely now that I'm noticing, both feet. There's so many nerves in the feet that we don't notice when we've got socks and shoes on. So any opportunity I can get to walk barefoot is fantastic, and so good for us as well. Apparently, it's a great way to reconnect to the ions in nature, and it's a wonderful. There's some wonderful health benefits to that as well. If any of you know, I've got links to that. Please post them. Please post them in the under the exercise for walking mindfully. But obviously be careful. I have to be careful. People do walk dogs here. They're very clean. They clean up after their dogs mostly, but I've got to be careful. There's a few thistles here as well. So again, I'm being careful to ensure that I don't tread on one of those. So mindful walking has a purpose here. It's keeping me from hurting my feet as well. So I'm taking care as I walk. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to walk as I shared with you on the practice, which is just my right foot forward and bring my left foot up alongside it, and then my left foot forward and my right one alongside it. And what I do is I notice the feeling with my right foot going forward and then bringing my left foot up to it. I then switch my attention to the left foot, and then I take the left foot forward and move my attention then back to the right foot as I bring my right foot forward, left foot. So the process of doing this is just again to help you with mindfulness, to be able to practice switching your focus from one sensation to another. And the slowing down is another way for you to start noticing things like balance, because some of you may well find that when you step, the balance shifts, and we're not often used to walking this way. So there's a number of things happen. One is the body has to recalibrate, and the body has to learn to feel more as you're walking and to balance itself. but also the mind. Some wonderful things happen with the mind when you walk like this. Because when I first started doing this, I thought, what if somebody comes up and sees me doing this? They're going to think they're going to wonder what I'm doing. And I used to come up, one of the ways I used to do that and counter that is I used to pretend I was looking for something on the floor, like I'd dropped something on the way across. So I'd just be looking down on the floor as I was walking. And in fact, that's another lovely way of spotting nature, is to, as you're doing this exercise, and my balance is out a little bit because I'm carrying a big heavy weight of water here as well, so it's pulling me over to one side, so I'm needing to be very mindful here. But I'm also looking on the ground in front of me as I'm walking and noticing there's dandelions down there, there's little blue flowers that I'm not sure what they are. No daisies yet. Oh yes, there's some daisies behind me that I can see. So I'm looking down at the floor, I'm walking very, very slowly and mindfully and purposefully and meaningfully. I'm putting meaning on what I'm doing, which is really good to do. Hang on, let's just get myself back aligned. There we go, that should work now, should keep me aligned. Great. I'm using a gimbal, by the way. I bought myself an OM4 DJI gimbal, just over £100, which is better than a selfie stick. And one of the things of this is as I move it round, it just keeps on my head. It should keep on my head so that it stays with me, so it's easier for the viewer to see. But the other thing is it stops all the wobble with phones. I'm very used to using my phone just holding it in my arm, but as my arm starts to get tired, the phone can wobble and you get a shake on it. Well, this gimbal stops there being a shake, so it stops anybody watching it getting motion sickness while I'm moving. I'm going to sort of just speed up a little bit now, having done that mindful walking, and that's kind of got me already grounded and very aware of my feet. So now I'm just enjoying walking just a little bit more slowly than usual. I don't invest too much time doing the exercise of mindful walking. It's just really a way of slowing myself and the people I guide down a little, getting people to focus mindfully and put some meaning to their walking. Walking, breathing, listening, all of those things have become that become autopilot for us. We're not really noticing. And so all these exercises are designed to bring our attention back to things we've stopped noticing and start noticing more, start noticing what we've been missing. And certainly the joy of walking barefoot this morning on a wonderful spring day, breathing in some really lovely fresh air that the trees have gifted to me today, so I'm very appreciative of that. And I'm going over to give some water to the trees here that I've been planting. And it's interesting because I've got 3 trees here that I'm looking after. 2 are ours and one's a neighbour's who's not able to look after their own tree, that I took over this year. And it's really quite interesting because the ones I've been looking after are really, really doing well. Here's the wedding cake tree that my wife chose. So you can see that behind me. They'll put some bluebells underneath it as well, and it's doing so well. I'm really, really loving it, and it's because I've been coming up here and looking after it, I like to believe, and giving it some water, giving it a drink, particularly this week because there's not been much rain around. So that's my wife's tree there, and little daughter's tree, and we that's called a wedding cake tree apparently. So I've been just fed that one, and this is the one I've started looking after for our neighbour, which is also a wedding cake tree, but was a bit neglected last year. And as you can see, compared to the one I've just showed you, look at that, it really was, all that happened was I came up and I watered the one over there. You can see in the distance there we go. So that's what it should look like when it's got care and attention, and when it gets neglected, this is looking a little less neglected now because I've been feeding it and watering it and just giving it some attention. It's amazing how plants respond so well to attention when we give them attention and kindness. They do seem to grow much better, and that's certainly true of people. So why wouldn't it be true of other natural beings like trees, plants and animals? I'm just heading off now to water the last of the 3 trees that I plan to do today, and noticing sounds of planes just come over, and it's just part of the soundscape rather than to see it as an annoyance. A noise is just a sound that annoys people, so not to see it as noise or hear it as noise, not to label it as noise, purely hear it as part of a broader soundscape. Here's my tree here, hornbeam this is, and again I've been watching this one for just over a year when we planted it, and I'm sure it's loving. Ooh, let's get me back in focus. This is me multitasking. Apparently it's not possible to multitask, and I'll admit to that, it isn't possible to multitask. It's just a case of you get good at switching your attention from one thing to another thing very, very quickly. And actually it's not advised to multitask these days, because it can tire us out, constantly switching our focus. And that's another wonderful thing about natural mindfulness and other nature connection practices. They're designed to help us just keep our focus on one thing at a time, or no more than a couple of things at a time. Unless of course you're doing this course, because tomorrow we'll be moving. You'll have done seasonal breathing, listening mindfully, mindful walking, and tomorrow is training your senses. So that's actually when I get you to purposefully focus, or do your best to focus your attention on more than one thing. You're actually going to be switching, but you'll be focusing your attention on your senses, and so it'll be an interesting experience, interesting practice, interesting exercise for you to do tomorrow. But so today, all I've really done with you here today is just shown you how on a busy day I add in these exercises as I'm going through, so they just become part of my everyday life. Even if I'm working in the office, I will, just walking to the office, I'll just invest some time listening. I'll remember to stay in breath, take a breath, connect to the seasons in breath, because you can do this even inside. As soon as I think of the in-breath of spring, the pause and the relaxation of summer, the release of autumn, letting go, and then the rest of winter, the hibernation, the rest before the new refreshing spring breath again. Just even indoors, even in a busy office, even on a busy street, to just even close my eyes if I'm able to. I'm just sat on a bench here now, and I can just close my eyes, and as I'm breathing I can be imagining a spring day, imagining a summer day, imagining an autumn day, imagining a winter day, and all of the senses that the sensory information that you get on those days, much cooler and chillier at certain times of the year than others. So it's we can even do this exercise on our busy day, just taking a moment. A moment is about 3 seconds, according to research. 3 seconds is a moment, and I looked into that, and it's because they were using a moment as sort of the in-breath, and the out-breath is about 3 seconds. So a moment is 3 seconds. Now with natural mindfulness practice, and this practice, as you'll know, by practicing seasonal breathing, you can extend those moments. So a moment goes from being 3 seconds to, let's kind of see what those seconds could be. I'll take a breath in, relax, release, and rest. And I estimated, using my fingers, that was about 10 seconds for me to do that. So I'm increasing my moments from 3 seconds to 10 seconds by practicing natural mindfulness, seasonal breathing, and staying in breath. So, if we only have so many moments in our lives, I imagine it would make sense to not just me, but all of you, to extend that. See if you can extend those moments, be in the present moment more often, and make those moments much longer by extending the breath. So anyway, I think that's enough for this morning. It's about a 20-minute little video for you. just to sort of show you how I'm fitting these into my day this week. I thank you for those of you that have already been posting. I've already been putting up your comments, your experiences, your connections, your insights from the videos so far. We're only on day three. There's a whole week to go, and there's 2 more weeks to go after this, and as long as you need to complete it. So please don't feel like you're not keeping up or you're behind. Just go at your own pace. Let me know if you need support. Let me know if you need any guidance from me. Just be content that what you can do is what you can do, and do your best, obviously, but don't keep trying too hard to do things when there's other things you need to do. Just make sure that this is something you enjoy and that it's gentle. Otherwise, you won't do it. And it's the same with people we guide. If it's not enjoyable and it's not gentle and it's not easy for them to do, then people won't keep coming back and walking with you. And obviously that's what we're looking to encourage, and we're looking to invite people to do. Please do keep posting. Go look at what other people have been posting, and do get in touch with me if you need more support. So enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of the week. I'll be in touch, and look forward to connecting with you again on Saturday. I'll be sending out some information about the Saturday Zoom. It's at 2 o'clock UK time, as it usually is on a Saturday, but I'll send more information out with the Zoom link to remind you and help you get there as quick as you can. All right, take care now, and goodbye for now.